Although I've recorded 2 EPs and 1 full-length album ever since I started this YouTube channel, which were all recorded in this space right here, I never actually did a studio report similar to the gig reports I have been doing. The reason for this is simple. Next to playing, I was also engineering and producing those 3 recordings, and to also be filming the entire process was just a bit too much. And even though it still proved to be a bit difficult, I still brought my camera gear along when we went with Nighthawker to the studio to record our second album. It was a conscious effort to go to a different space and having someone else behind the desk. We thought the band needed a new impulse, and I was happy with the idea of focusing mainly on the musical part. And this time we wanted to do most of the recording of our album live. We picked Banca Studios in Maastricht to do the recording. Not only is it the city where the band was formed, but it's also just a great sounding live room. It used to be a TV studio, then it was a live venue, and now it's a music studio. I used to intern there when it was still a live room, and I've had some of the best sounding recordings from that room. As our engineer, we decided to work with Igor Wouters, who had previously worked with our rhythm section when they played in a different band. We all just clicked with him once we started discussing the plans for our sophomore album. The basic idea was to record the instrumental parts all live in the room and record some of the solos, some extra parts and all of the vocals separately. Besides that, we wanted to do as little overdubbing as possible. Adding some percussion, keys, acoustic or electric guitar to add a little flavor to part of the song was alright, but we wanted to keep it as true to the roots as possible. So we would play the entire song live in a room together, and once we would get a good take, we would add whatever else was needed to finish the song. We had 5 days to get this done. We started during the final days of April to record from Monday till Wednesday, then we had 2 days off to continue recording in the weekend. During these days we eventually decided to add another studio day at the end of summer to be able to finish up some vocals or whatever else would come to mind after we had time to listen to the mixes for a while. The first day was mostly to get everything set up and ready for recording, so miking and sound checking everything until it was all working and sounding properly. And eventually we had some time left to do some actual recording the first day. We did record one more song that day, but we weren't sure if the take we had was good enough, so listening with fresh ears the next day, we decided we could do better and gave it another go. these recordings I used my Marshall 1987X or my Dr. ZZ Reg Jr. going through a Marshall 4x12 cabinet loaded with greenbacks. Next to that, my Marshall Studio JTM combo was running along the entire time, not as a wet dry rig, just to add a different sound. And even though it looks like I'm using a huge pedal board, it's just my main board with a small utility board next to it that has the helix and some other effects that I use for some extra textures or solos, like in the next example. That was my Deep Trip page bender with the bias set pretty low to get it to sputter. It's a pretty straightforward up-tempo rock song, so I thought it would benefit from a weirder sounding solo. While we were setting up to record the next song, my parents came by with my son. Since both his mother and me play in this band together, but he's too young to remember anything as he was just shy of 10 months old at the time, we wanted to take some pictures of him with us in the studio. Once we have our album on vinyl, we will save him a copy along with some pictures of ours in the studio with us. That way he will have a record that his parents made and something to see he was actually there with us for a moment. Because of that, I actually forgot to record the song we did next, for which we got a great take on which I actually did the solos live in the room. And all I have now is some footage of my son listening with us to the take we did before that. And that's all for part 1. Stay tuned for parts 2 and 3 of the studio report, and if you like the music you heard, check the description down below. There's an email address on which you can pre-order the vinyl. For now, please leave a comment and tell me what you think, and while you're down there, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you next time.